Today, we're going for a ride. Welcome to Friday Ride, where Bella and I go for a ride. Car, scooter. Today it's gonna be scooter. It's a nice 40 degrees out here. I think we're good to go. All right, say hi, baby. Doesn't she look peaceful in there? All right, you guys, let's go. All right, hope you guys enjoy the ride. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go, Bella. Today I thought we would go down to the park and do another sketch, but we're gonna go to a different part of the park today. Not the same spot, but a different spot. I guess a different spot would be the opposite of the same spot. And like I said, two things at once. Or the same thing twice in one sentence. Anyways. Yeah. It's an overcast day today. It's winter time, so it's to be expected. But we're not gonna let that slow us down. Like I said, it's rain or shine on Friday for me. It's we can cruise in the car too, so I'm not beyond just saddling up and going in the car somewhere, which probably going to do a lot of that anyway this summer. So we'll drive out into the woods or into the Ochos and pull the scooter out of the trunk and strap Bella in the backpack, and we'll ride through the woods a little bit and show you guys some of the other spots that are really cool in and around here. How we can go from desert and plateaus here right into some really cool looking forest just right out of town, really. So we have lakes and all kinds of things around here. It's an exciting time to live, really, here in Prineville. Just a lot going on around here in the summertime and stuff. So you guys are probably getting pretty familiar with this bike path by now. I like to use it a lot. It gets me right where where I want to go, and with minimal interaction with vehicles. I don't mind riding on the road though, and in traffic, just have to be a little bit more careful. There are other spots in town here I'd like to go, but not today. We'll do that in some upcoming videos. So, yeah, bring you guys along for another Friday. Gotta love the end of the week. It's like, you got Saturday and Sunday to relax. Be with your family, your loved ones, or wherever you're at or whatever you're doing. Doesn't have to necessarily be with anybody. It's just it's a time of relaxation and reflection, and throwing your feet up. Maybe play video games, maybe you watch movies, maybe you binge watch shows. Whatever you do. Saturday and Sunday, those are good days to do that all day. Or maybe you want to get out and go do something. Maybe you want to go to a Saturday market, or maybe go check out the local museum and stuff. Maybe you want to just go to your local bookstore, take a book, hang out, read. engage in conversation with others. You know? Have yourself a chat with people. There's our duck friends. There you go. Hi, guys. Oh, better slow down. I don't want to startle them too much. Hey, guys. We're going to stop and say hi. How about that? Hi, guys. There they go. See, I don't know why they got their heads cocked like that. What are they doing? Are they just resting, chilling? They're pretty comfortable with me. They seem to enjoy the company, not mind people at all. So they probably do mind people a little bit. They've learned that we're not all scary, I guess. Which would be a good thing. Could be a bad thing too. But I think this spot right here is, good spot for them. It's right in the middle of town, and all these town folks right here, they really like their birds. They really like their ducks and stuff like that. So I don't think they're in any kind of harm's way. Another side of the park on the other side of the creek here, which is really cool. I mean, they have all kinds of things here that kids can play on and stuff and make music. It's a pretty neat little spot, actually. In the summertime, you'll see water coming up out of this spot right here. It's like a little fountain. But as we cruise along here, you'll see these little things here. Where kids can come along and make music, right? I don't know. There's some more impressive ones down here, but that's what they all are. They're all little music things. See, here's a cool one. It's actually got music, right? You can follow it and stuff. Let's hear it. No way, right? All the way through summer. I'll try to get down here so nobody bothers us and we can do our video in peace and stuff. So. But, take whatever we get. Let's check this one out. That's dope. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I do have some company down here. I don't think anybody was down here. Let's check this one out. Whoops. That's pretty cool. All right, guys, this is the spot for today. Check it out. See what we're doing. People play soccer over there. A lot of times when I was a kid, growing up, right over here and all through this park is where the Davison Carnival would set up, and you could see the rides from a mile away because we don't have any skyscrapers or anything, so it would actually be up above the skyline and stuff, and people can walk through here, with their friends or family or girlfriends or whatever, and enjoy the carnival, enjoy the rides. It's a lot of fun. I do believe they still come here every year. Sometimes they post up here. I don't think they probably do that as much anymore because the event of this new park, over here, this was never here before. This is all new. But so I think that they set up over the fairgrounds, and we'll figure out when that is, and we'll go check that out when that happens and do a sketch over there, huh? Let's let Bella out. Here she comes. There she is. There you go, sweetheart. Hi. We're here. There. Okay. Ooh, almost lost it, didn't we? Got to tie that up a little better. I thought I had it pretty good. This knee-wear bag actually works really good for my color pencils. We're going to do it in color pencils today. So, yeah. I did bring my some of my markers, though, just in case. But I think we got a lot of time for that. I'm just going to do something with some colored pencils real quick. Here, baby. Bella. I brought her some of her food. Some water. Because it's lunchtime for her. She's checking out a dog over here. It's a big old dog, huh? It's like a sweetheart. And I brought myself some lunch too, real quick. So, just thought I'd grab a quick bite to eat while I was here. But, baby. She really likes these churros, I guess is what they're called. I only feed her half of one at a time because I just feel like it's a lot for her. You know, I feed her twice a day, so about a quarter cup of some dry kibble in the for the evening, afternoon, evening. She won't eat it all, and half a cup of wet food in the morning. That's what she gets right now. So, and then what I got is just some lentils and rice. Nothing super fancy, but yeah, it's good. All right. Where's the apple we did last Friday? I didn't even touch it. Thinking one of these days we'll just go ahead and make more apples or something. Right. So when I work with colored pencils, I like to use a combination of polychromos and Caran d'Ache or Derwent Light Fast. The reason being is because of what one of them's wax and one of them is oil. So the wax tends to be a bit harder, so it's easier to keep the point sharp, so you can do the outlines better without getting a lot of I don't even know the word for it. You know, it's just it's a finer line, so it doesn't spread out as much as like Caran d'Ache would. This is the only set that would fit in this bag, so I just brought this one instead of like my whole set. It's a portrait assortment, so, but I'm sure we're gonna have some colors in there that'll be just fine. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start out actually with the Caran d'Ache, and we're gonna do an apple. We're just gonna stay with that theme with an apple. They're sort of quick, and it gives you a good idea of you know, some different techniques and stuff that I can use to make this apple. So sometimes the smoother side is even better to work on. So we'll just do that. See the top of this apple right here. Well, like that. Maybe, maybe that'll come out a little bit more here. Now, for time's sake, we're gonna go a little faster on this because color pencils generally take a lot longer to get a rendition done. So, okay. Yeah, I forgot my pencil sharpener, so we'll see how this goes. This might be a mixed media session, right? I might pull out my markers anyway. So, with the stem, I want to start with like a dark color. It's just like purple or something. Okay. We're just going to come in here real loose. We're not going to make sure we try to color everything in the first pass. And a lot of this stuff is going to be texture in here, so. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we got the camera on the drawing. This camera I'm using is from DJI. It's a Action 5 Pro camera. It's been a great camera. It has a screen on the front of it so that you can see where the center of the frame and stuff is. So. What I like to do is a little technique we did the other day with the markers, in that I'm gonna figure out where my light source is coming from, and I already see it. It's coming from this way. So I'm gonna take the green and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna shade this dark side. I'm gonna get an idea of where this darkness is gonna be and how it's gonna affect this apple. All right. And just because we don't finish a drawing, it's okay. We're not going to rush it. We're not going to try to be super quick about it. We're just going to take our time and enjoy our Friday. Enjoy our time together. As Bella walks around and explores, she goes to see everything. She likes to check things out. There's kids playing over here, so I think that's got her attention a little bit. Oh, now she wants my attention. She's grabbing at my leg. What up there, baby? Yeah, Daddy's drawing an apple. I think this darkness is going to come all the way back over here. Right? All the way to the back side of that apple. We come in here pretty light and get this first pass so I get a good idea where the dark's going to be, where the values are going to be, so we can capture it like a sphere so you can see the three-dimensional aspect of it. All right. So I'm going to have a little bit right here. About like that. I think that's going to be good. Right. It's about where I see the darks. And then we'll go on back over to red. Actually, first, what I want to do is I want to lay some foundations in here. So I'm going to come in here with a yellow. And again, sometimes it's easier just to draw, a line real quick of the shape of the apple, so that you know what direction to actually shade in, right? Because it makes a huge difference If you were to shade side to side, it wouldn't hold that spherical shape, right? Instead, it would look flat. And that's just from experience. Like I've said before, I've never went to school for art. I've never earned a degree in art. The degree that I have is trial and error. That's the degree I have in art. And it's about 40 years of it, maybe 42. Trial and error, right? There's a time and a place for everything. There's a time for photorealism. There's a time for quick sketches. There's a time for chilling and not trying to outdo what you did last time. It's time for everything. I'm gonna focus on going in circular motions here. I'm not too worried about coming over here to the green with the yellow. It's gonna be dark. I just want this to be underneath the red. So small circles, if you can, would be the best way to go about this. If you really wanted photorealism, you would be going probably 1,000 times slower than what I'm going right now. That's what makes colored pencils, so meditative, because the process takes, certain steps, and you really have to practice patience. You have to bring yourself to the realization that not everything can be built overnight. So yeah, a lot of times you can just take your time. I'm gonna go fast enough to be able to get something that resembles something. If you kept on going with it or working with it, it would really turn into something spectacular, right? But we're not going to go all that far with it because, again, it takes a lot of time. So in the future, and you guys can leave this down in the comments, if you want me to take my time with stuff like this and really show you the full process, kind of thing, we can do this in 2 takes, and I can slow it way down and show you, how time can really make a difference. I've said this before: if you don't have patience, or you're lackadaisical in any way with your stuff, it will show through in your art. So you want to keep that in mind as you're moving forward. There's a lot of loose mediums. And any medium could be that way, whatever. This could be loose if you want. It doesn't have to be photorealism. But there's a lot of loose mediums that allow you to move a lot quicker than what a color pencil will allow you to do. Okay. Now with that green, you know what else I'm seeing over here? Sometimes hitting it with a little bit of a purple or something. I want to, real quick, see, make sure, yep, that's the color I'm looking for. It's good to do swatching and stuff like that, so you can get an idea of what the colors are before you go slam them to the paper. Sorry about that. I'm gonna turn that off. I have learned through editing, post-edit, you can spend a lot of time in post-edit. So, and I'm not that person. I am a shoot it and get her going. I learned to be a director through post-edit, because you can spend 16 hours in a chair trying to edit just perfect and get those shots just right. And it's not necessary. It just isn't, man. So learn real quick some of the things if you ever get into wanting to make your own videos. In fact, I'm going to take that this time right now to tell you that if you do, and I'm still learning, so I haven't unlocked the full capabilities of my equipment yet. But if it's something you do want to get into, I do have links in the description down there that you can go check out. It no cost to you, and it helps me out. I mean, I know that's a cliche to say that, but I'm going to go ahead and just say it real quick. Go check it out if that's something you want to check out. So I don't have links for everything, but I got links for the camera and, some of the power things that I use for power. So when I go off site, and I'm not affiliated with some of these companies, so I just have the links through Amazon. So for them, because I figure, it's a better way to go for stuff like that for me anyway. Not everything, just all depends. But so back to when I go off site, sometimes like when I want to go out of town, because I have a lot of plans for this type of content that I want to do in this channel. Not pivoting, just staying true to how I like to flow and my process and how it works. When I go off site for a night, because I want to go do some camping this summer with Bella, I'll take an EcoFlow Delta Pro with me, and it's a big enough unit. I might even take both of them. I got 2 of them, so I like to take those with me on trips like that because it's solid power. I have solar panels, but if I take 2 full batteries, I won't need the solar panels for how long I'm going to be out there. But it will charge my scooter for sure. A couple times, a few times, probably quite a few times actually. And I'm able to get a few meals in, so I'm able to eat and do my edit stuff, do my stuff on the computer out in the Badlands, where I'm drawing my inspiration from. So, and this is all important, important stuff for your workflow. You learn as you go, how to maintain a good workflow, because if you don't, you get burned out, and that's no fun to be under the pressure of performing, or getting stuff out or being consistent, that kind of thing, because I am a consistent kind of person. That's how I've carried myself through life, and it just, for me, it's important to be that way. So now that we got some of this stuff in here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna come in over here just yet. I'm gonna come right by here, but I am gonna go into the direction of the apple, the flow of the apple here. And we're going to stop right here at the foothills of that value. Might even come in here and just kind of define that out right now so that I can see where that's at, right? The little lip of that apple there. Again, I don't know how far we'll get on this. I'll spend, I like to go a little while. I think about 40 minutes, an hour maybe. I don't like to put too much time constraint on anything, but I like to keep the video as whole as possible so that so there's not a lot going on in post edit. I'm trying to explain that in a way that allows viewers or folks to understand that there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a point that a creator or somebody like myself that enjoys doing this kind of thing comes to. Just like with art, if it doesn't have to be perfect. It just doesn't. I mean, you have to be real with it. You have to be real with it. You have to show your mistakes. You have to be true to yourself and true to tone. On this channel, freedom, we have the freedom to do that. So I'm Bam. Yeah, she's over here next to her dad, chilling, enjoying the park, Probably enjoying other people because there's people here playing and moving about and, you know, enjoying the park, enjoying the amenities here. Parks are a lot of fun. It's a great place to go. Just to relax, just to be you, do what you want to do. But I spoke a little earlier about when I was younger and the carnivals that they used to hold here. They were called the Davison. I believe it's the Davison Carnival. I need to look that up and see what you find on it. But you know, just the lights. I remember dark time. You know, at night. You know, this carnival would be humming, all the lights from the rides, and you know, all that stuff, and you know, the smell of cotton candy and hot dogs, and the sound of excitement when somebody wins a prize, you know, at a booth, you know. Just all the sounds, all the smells, all the excitement really draws you back to a time that is reminiscent of you know, innocence, really. Different time. So what I want to do is I think I'm going to come back over that since I went and hit that with purple. I want to come back over that with green. And now what I'm doing is I really kind of just want to focus on getting a little more of that tooth filled in. I don't want to leave that tooth so white. We're not going to completely fill it in here. When I'm doing photorealism, the way to achieve that is to burnish it, to really hit it hard, or hit it with some kind of a solvent. So if you're working with oil or whatever, or, you know, I think, you know, I don't know that it really matters. I mean, I've used Gimsol and Zest on both oil and wax pencils. It has a similar effect. But what it does is it turns your drawing into something that looks like it was made with a marker, which is okay. I mean, you know, some people like it. Some people protest against that, you know, saying, well, why didn't you just draw it with a marker in the first place, that kind of thing. But it's not like that. You know, it's a different effect. You're not going to get the blending effect with markers the way you would with color pencil and hitting it with Gimsol. It's two different things. So I would definitely say, hey, you know, I don't know about that. You know, no. There's a reason why people do it. So there's a reason why people buy these kinds of pencils, like Polychromos or Caran d'Ache or, you know, Derwent Light Fast. One, the light fastness. The rating of the light fastness on the pencils translates straight to how long the piece of art will actually last. I've used different pencils like this, like the same way I would use these pencils, and I get totally different results, you know, sometimes in real time, sometimes days after I draw it, in the way of wax bloom. So with these pencils, you're not going to get the same kind of wax bloom as you would with some other pencils. Like Prismacolor is a real big offender of that. I like Prismacolor. They're fun for just doing whatever, but I tend not to use them very often because of the wax bloom. I just, you know, I don't like to. I'll let kids use them. I'll let somebody that's just chilling with me that don't have art supplies use them, and you know, and not worry about it, because, you know, I don't like making art just to throw it away. I mean, I guess if it had a reason to be thrown away or left wherever you made it, that'd be a different story. Whatever your story is there with that. But for me, I you know, I don't like getting halfway through a painting and then all of a sudden starting to see all this wax bloom starting to hit, you know. It's discouraging. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to pick up some of this really obvious stuff that I want to make sure is covered, because this is about the last pass I'm going to do with this green. And the cool thing about using stuff like Gimsol or Zest with this color pencil is you don't have to burnish it. There's different ways of getting that effect. So you can burnish it with the pencil itself, which is my choice of doing it. But you do go through the pencils a lot quicker, and it does take a lot longer. But if you were to hit that with Gimsol, even the way it is right now, I mean, it would really just spread this pigment out, and it would fill in all those valleys of the tooth of the paper. I did flip this paper over to get the smooth side of the paper, just because, you know, I didn't want that extra tooth. But the extra tooth is just fine too. So I mean, it's just preference. It's time. It's, you know, it's what you got going on, you know, kind of thing. So. Well, we want a good transition here between these two colors. So we want to make sure our darks are up in there. You know, that kind of thing. It's really hard not to slow down, especially when you're, when you've done this a few times. It's hard to rush this because, I know what'll happen if I do. You know, you really got to pay attention to these little tooth marks. That's why a lot of artists will spend, 16 hours or 8 hours with a drawing, and then just hit the time lapse button on the painting, and then you get 16 hours in 5 minutes worth of 5 minutes worth of video, and you see me scratching around here. When it's all sped up, it actually looks cohesive. But it's not real time. It's definitely not real time. So it's not. And I'm a fan of sped up stuff, but at the same time, it's there's time and place for everything. And for this, it's not about speeding anything up on Friday. If you want to watch some of my sped up paintings, I have playlists actually with sped up paintings in it. So I'll do sped up paintings every once in a while and just add them to the collection there. But Friday ride, this isn't about being fast about it. It's not about doing this time lapse on the videos. It's about just chilling, different spot, and enjoying our time together drawing. What are you guys drawing? If you're drawing, leave it down in the comments. Where are you guys drawing from? Where are you from? What part of the world? Are you in? What's your favorite thing about drawing? What drives you? What makes you want to draw? There's Bella in her cozy little cave, or cat cave. All right, now we're going to start going over this grain with the red. So, and you'll see it starting to come together here with that color over the red. Again, don't go real hard. Even though this is the last color I'm putting over the top here, I don't want to I don't want to go too hard. I don't have a pencil sharpener, so I failed to remember to bring one with me. Which I really should just get a bug out art supply kit here going at home so that I don't forget stuff, because I do have extra pencil sharpeners. I want to keep that continuity of the shape of the apple here. And we'll do that by drawing a couple lines ahead of time here to keep that shape. And next time we bring out some color pencils and do this, I think I'll bring the Gamsol or the Zest just to show you guys how quick you can turn something that looks like, you know, like this into something really smooth and creamy looking. And, you know, that's the cool thing about these. That's how I describe these pencils right here. It's creamy, for sure, compared to like the Polychromos being a harder wax pencil there. Or yeah, a hard wax or wax pencil versus an oil pencil, which that's what these are. And they both have their place. I am serious about that. So I love my Polychromos. I love Faber-Castell. It's a great company. It's, you know, I mean, again, as of now, I'm not affiliated with any art brand, so that could definitely change here in the near future. But I only like to mess around with art supplies that I know and trust. So yeah, if it's not a good art supply, I'm gonna either tell you about it or not use it. You won't see it in these videos. We're gonna focus on little circles here. I don't want to get too close to that edge because otherwise I'll end up going out of the lines. And I'm gonna sharpen those lines up with the Polychromos. That's what Polychromos is. That's what the Polychromos is gonna do. They're gonna make sure that those lines are nice and crisp. They need to be. Okay. And this is where you can spend as much time as you need to get that, to really get that color coming through. We might try using a blender real quick on a little bit of it just to show you guys what a blender can do to something like that. If I got one, might even just use white. Sometimes just using a white pencil will help burnish it a little bit. But yeah, there's no way. I mean, this would take probably a few hours really to get really right, you know. So we're gonna get it most of the way here, and then we're gonna call it a decent sketch, right? And maybe we will do a second take on this. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm just not gonna get it all done in one, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I just want to get it to a good spot where you guys can see the joy in it and what, you know, is possible with these pencils. These pencils are incredible. I'm telling you, they're just, I mean, especially if you like photorealism, especially if you like super fine detail, you get so much control out of using a colored pencil versus other things. So I would say something that's comparable to the realism. I've never used oil paint, so I can't speak to that, but I'm not opposed to trying out new things. You know, I keep my mind open. I don't shut it up, you know. I do tend to use acrylics because I don't want to inhale that stuff in my studio. I don't want to constantly inhale it. I was a house painter for a long time, so I know what these fumes can do to your respiratory system, especially when it's itemized paint, you know, when it's smaller particles. like lacquer, you know, those kinds of things. I mean, you really want to think about wearing a mask, you know, and a good one, not just not just the face mask, but a, you know, a mask. So you could probably see on camera how this is starting to come together, how that green's really looking, right? If I do get into oil, I would like to do it outside, you know, like a plein air style, like maybe on you know, maybe out in the Badlands or out in the woods or something. Around here we call it the Badlands. We call the woods the Badlands. We just do. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere or if that's just something we do over here. It's a lot of country folk around here, a lot of cowboys and uh you know, people working on ranches and stuff like that. Don't mind the car alarm. That's hopefully somebody will figure that out here real quick, right? There it goes. I'm thankful for that. Now you can see this apple. Like I can really see this thing like it was in my hand, you know. That's about where this drawing's starting to get at for me. It's like you know, I see it now. So, I mean, we'll come pretty close to. I mean, it's not going to be done by my standards, but it's going to look pretty decent probably by the time we're done. Again, my light source is right there, so I'm not going over that. I'm gonna leave that right where it's at. It's gonna be staying about right where it's at. I like it there. It might be a little darker right here. Okay. Yeah, you don't, you know, I mean, nice to have a, you know, degree in art, I guess. But I don't think it's prerequisite for loving to draw or being able to learn how to draw. You know, a lot about going to school is learning stuff like color theory, you know, some really in-depth stuff. So, you know, so there's definitely a place for it. There's, you know, I can't discredit anybody that spent their hard, you know, their time and worked really hard to try to, you know, to accomplish something. You just, you know, can't be going around doing that. So, I respect people that spent their time going to school to learn how to do something. I went to college. I spent quite a bit of time learning how to do other things. I went to college, community college for culinary. I wasn't just a construction worker. I cooked for a long time. I would work construction in the summertime. Get usually laid off until the housing booms started happening here in the last, you know, it was the last decade of my working years. But before my accident. But in the wintertime, I would go back into the kitchens. And it's a great place to be because that's where, you know, everybody goes to the kitchen or goes to a restaurant to have a good time. They don't go to a restaurant to sulk. You know, that's that's not the place to go when you're, you know, not feeling life or you don't want to be around anybody. So that's what was fun about working in a kitchen, right? Because everybody was there to have a good time. And that's really what made working in kitchens real powerful. And a lot of my art, I was able to be an artist there as well because my plate presentations were important to me. What my food looked like before it went out in front of a customer. I was that person. I really took a lot of care. I mean, it didn't take me long to do what I needed to do. I wasn't sitting there a half an hour trying to put a plate together. I was quick about it because I was consistent and I knew what I was doing and I've done it long enough that, you know, I can do it quick. It was a good mix of, good balance of eye and technique. So, and respecting time, more importantly. All right. Now you can see this thing really coming together here, right? Now, a lot of people, when they're working with this and trying to get it really, really detailed, is they'll come straight on top of it instead of doing what I'm doing here. I'm doing that because it just covers a lot quicker. But if you're really taking your time at this, you'd see all these little crevices and cracks, and you'd go in and you'd fill them with that sharp point of the pencil. And then you would sharpen your pencil continuously, trying to keep that edge so that you could fill those little cracks and crevices. But for the sake of time and sanity, we're not going to do that today. It's about 40 degrees, but I can feel it in my toes, so it's a little chilly. Like I said, every Friday might not just be a scooter ride. It might be in the car going somewhere, so that we can take advantage of having a heater. Makes it nice. Cool. Yeah, it's coming together. Yeah, I really like how that green makes that shadow back there, and I really wanted to show you guys that, right? You can see later on when we're finishing up this drawing, we're gonna have a shadow from the stem come out over the apple. Makes it looks like make it look like the stem's going in a particular direction, because it's not flat. You know what I mean? The stem isn't gonna sit flat. It's gonna bend and twist, and it's gonna do things. Yeah. You just want to make sure that green disappears as much as possible before we blend it. And we're only going to blend a little bit of this, and we're going to finish this drawing up on the next episode. We'll do that, okay? We'll do that. Just because I want to give these pencils a fair shot as far as, what a finished drawing actually looks like with them. So continue to go here for a little bit. I've said in the past that, I like to do everything in one sitting. It helps. And this is true. That was before I had had a purpose for doing it on a schedule. So I'm a real schedule kind of person. When I buy into something, I buy into it pretty hard. So with having a schedule and knowing that I'm going to meet that schedule and be here every Friday, it's going to allow me to be able to put a drawing aside and come back to it. So that opinion might just change a little bit. So okay, I really want to lock this side in over here at least, and we'll work on the other side next week. Because Bill is getting a little cold. And parents bringing their kids down to play on the toys and, give everybody their space and their time to do things. I just really wanted to showcase this spot because I thought it was unique, and the things that they're doing for kids in our community. Because, community is important. And investing in your community the way, I feel this town does, is important. It's important because you're raising the next generation. You're raising the next cheerful givers. You're raising, the next, the next generation that's going to treat you, well when you're in your older years and stuff. So it's important. It's important to keep that in mind. This video does go a little over what we normally do. I'm sure you guys won't be too mad. I'll put timestamps in the video. How about that? I'll put timestamps in the video if you've made it this far, so you can skip to wherever you need to skip. It's okay. You know? It's more about people enjoying themselves and learning something. That'd be a bonus. But enjoying yourself first. I think that's a big part of what me and Bella, or Bella and me, want to do for others. Because it's not really about just us. It's about you guys. It's about community. It's about who we are as a collective. It's how we represent our passion, for drawing. So it's all those beautiful things that life promises if we decide to look at it that way. I believe everything we do is art. Art is in everything. That's for sure. Yeah, I can't help myself. I have to take some time with it. I can't see myself rushing, colored pencils. So it's just, I thought I'd be able to do something fairly quick, but it's not going to be happening that way. But I will tell you this, we are going to have to, I don't know. You know what? I got a sneaky suspicion that I think this red will probably last just as long as we need it to for today. Because it's getting down there pretty good, right? I'll get the polychromos in here a little bit, but we might be using those on the next trip, because polychromos is usually the last thing that I'm going to use, because it's a touch-up deal. It's getting the lines nice and clean, so it doesn't have that texture there on the outside. It's a lot sharper. The polychromos, that's what they do. They're good for eyeballs, just really fine detail. So, but the reason why these sets or these pencils are so expensive is because of the pigment in these pencils. The pigment is what makes these pencils fire. Yep. Colored pencils is the reason why I got into coloring things. Growing up, I only used graphite. I didn't use I never colored anything. And that's actually a good thing, because I learned the values of things. I learned where the values are supposed to be and how to place them. I didn't it helped me transition into color, into using color. So I truly believe anybody can do this part. So I mean, anybody can do art. You just have to practice. It's not talent. Talent is usually something a lot of people will say that, don't want to put in the effort to do it. So let's, because it's I don't think it's talent. I think it's practice. It's sheer determination. Anything you do, you got to have determination if you want to be good at it. Nothing worth having is easy. Anything you want, anything worth having is gonna take some work. So just know that. Know that. I mean, I'm sure you do. But if there's anybody here that doesn't know that, know that. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned in life. Anything you want, you got to work for. If it comes easy, then everybody would do it, right? And then it wouldn't. The marvel of it wouldn't, be so high. But I think when people tell you that it's talent, when people say, "Oh, you're talented" or whatever, those kinds of things, um, it doesn't always mean that they don't, they just don't want to put in the effort. It doesn't always mean that. It doesn't have to. But I guarantee you, if you spent 5-10 minutes with that person and showed them a few techniques, they would think that they can do it. I guarantee you. That's how I get people into art. I show them how to shade. I show them a few techniques that they can walk away with and, be like, oh, wow, all right. Yeah, I might be able to do this. So, and that's how you get people interested in art. That's how you feed art. That's how you feed people. That's how you water the garden, right? That's a thing. I want it to be a little lighter there on the rim of that. But to me, that's about as far as we're gonna get today. First, I'll show you what even just a white pencil can do here. And with this apple, we might just go ahead and do everything with this white, like this. Now I'm burnishing this a little bit, but I'm not finishing it. I'm leaving enough tooth on there in case I need to come back over it with red again. But looking at it, the way I'm looking at it, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that. I think it's gonna be fine. But just in case, I'm gonna do enough here so that you guys can see exactly how this burnishing effect works. Again, you can use different things. You can use Gamsel. You can use just a white pencil like I'm doing right now. Or they actually have burnishing pencils. Like in my other larger set of Caran d'Ache, I actually have a pencil meant for burnishing. So now, if it gets a little too much whitey, like it looks too white or whatever for whatever reason, you can always come back over and just lightly hit it, in different spots, just to bring back some of that red, just for texture purposes. But you can see right in here how it starts blending everything together. It starts looking cohesive. So I'm gonna do that one side and stop, but I'm gonna dial it in so that I might not be able to. I don't have a whole lot of that red left, huh? Now that I went over that with white like that, I'm gonna go back over it in different places. I'm not gonna color the whole thing. You see how I'm doing that? There's like little spots that you can kind of go into that isn't full on, with the white, and you can just cover it up just a little bit so it breaks up the straight white stuff, so it doesn't look like it's wax bloom or whatever. Again, we're just gonna mess around just with this one little spot. Yep, I want to dial this one spot in, and then we'll call it, okay? And we'll come back to it next week and next Friday and get her done. And it might be nicer. It might be sunny. It might be overcast again. Who knows? But yeah. I need it to be sunny anyway because I don't have a setting set on my camera yet for the sunny weather. And I want to get that dialed in. I don't like to feel rushed on doing anything because as somebody who likes to create on a schedule and respects systems and design, I don't like to be rushed doing things. I like to have things dialed in so that when I hit the road or when I get to doing what I need to be doing, I know exactly what I need to do it and to accomplish it quick enough. So all I did was I hit it with that white the way I did, and then now I'm coming right back over it with red. So you can see. And this is where we're going to call it. So you can see where it's really looking, more defined. All those little spots, you can cover up using, just burnishing it. We'll go back and forth like that until, all those little white spots turn into natural looking specks on an apple. So. Okay, I wanted to make sure that camera was still going. Sorry about that. So yeah, take a good little gander here at what we've done and where what we've accomplished today. This is the set of polychromos. I'm kind of glad I didn't have to get into it. Oh no, the tape's broke. Anyway, I taped it up so it wouldn't pop open on me. We'll keep that like that, and we will revisit that next Friday. But yeah. Oops. Oh, I don't know if I like how that's sitting. There we go. Here we go. Let's take a quick look at these. This is the polychromo set. I've had this set for a long time. Years. I got a couple pencils. I'm sure they're probably sitting somewhere. I've used them. They're probably sitting in it either. I know where they're at, actually. They're in a jar at home because I'm using them for a different project. Yeah, there's actually 3 pencils that are sitting in a jar at home. But anyway, it's a good reminder. Glad I opened it because I need to grab those. Anyway, oops. There we go. That coming out of there. There we go. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go home. All right. And this is the Caran d'Ache portrait set. These are the colors you get there and that. So I just want to show you guys that. And look at the packaging on that. That's amazing. It's like a hybrid styrofoam. Not styrofoam. It's squishy. It's like padding. It's like padding. It's excellent. This is what I pack my Neewer light in for portability. I can pack my Neewer light down into just this bag. And when it's dark outside, when I come out here at the, wee hours of the morning, I guess I call it twilight or something, I'll bring this light along and we can sit over, underneath a gazebo or whatever. They have quite a few of them here in different locations throughout the parks. But we could sit there and we could set up our Neewer light with batteries, making it completely portable, or bring a power bank and sit there under the gazebo with a light, and the batteries will last a couple hours, and have a session that way, which is nice, and have nice consistent light. So. Whenever you pack into the park, I always pack out. She's waiting to go. She knows. Ready, baby? Here we go. All right. Oh. Here we go, babe. Looks like the fire department's out here doing something. All right, let's go home. Really hope you guys enjoyed our ride today. I know I did.